attest to about hidden in plain sight, because we are talking about the whole gamut, whether it be negative, be it a positive. We were speaking to the subject of archons a bit ago, and I feel like that's actually a very primary way to facilitate your landscape, is if you're constantly coming up against what I refer to as an ordeal of power. You're being tested. And if that's the case, and you aren't creating necessarily massive karma for yourself through your actions with regards to other people, then possibly there's a question of, are you creating an inner karma? Are you treating yourself somehow poorly, or creating a blind spot within your own inner ruminations where you're not catching yourself? If you're having thoughts that are somewhat negative or somewhat belittling, whatever categorical negativity there is, that's an ordeal of power. And just the fact that it's happening means that you're on a path. And again, you can be somewhat redeemed in the fact that you're already incarnated here to accept an ordeal of power. To be a human here right now is obviously an ordeal of power. So if you have that in the microcosm too, in the inner world, everybody gets to clap. Let's just clap to you if that's the case, because quite frankly, the people who are battling the problem in the group dynamics, they aren't even on that same level of inner demons yet. So there's that little trick again, where if you get caught up in seeing the demiurge in plain sight, you can actually be manipulated and sucked into an archonic egregore, a group dynamic egregore. And it's up to you to know how that it's up to you to feel that it feels bad. It's up to you to feel that it feels obviously manipulative. But when you do feel that, that's the real freedom point. That's the liberty point. And as Marcia just brought up, the power of Christ will compel us. That white light overcomes the dark aspect of it. And Marcia spoke to the fact that if you are in this hot seat, that's a great thing, because the people that are not feeling this, they're going to have to. You're just simply doing this in a more streamlined process. And applause to you. It doesn't feel good. I'm there to empathize with the very fact that it's literally the worst feeling ever.
It's definitely not for the faint in any way. And many, many times the human will want to tap out of the experience because it's just simply too overwhelming. And yet there is always a strength that is just, even if minutely, larger. And I have a feeling that is what Spirit is now speaking to collectively, that there have been many that have gone as scouts ahead in order to hold this frequency, to be able to actually anchor it on this planet. And now for the next, specifically 7 to 10 years from Spirit's perspective, the collective at large will begin this experience, this lesson.